In 1995, Larry Clark's Kids sent quite a shockwave through the film world. Its documentary-like depiction of disaffected urban youth was seen as a wake-up call to parents who obviously had no idea what life was like for us 90s kids. The film had its fans, but also its critics, who complained that the film was little more than cheap exploitation, bordering on child pornography. But whatever it was, Kids was a work of fiction. And its warnings to parents of the time might have been lessened by that fictional status. In 2001, Larry Clark released another film, which was also controversial for its exploitative depiction of teens. It's another film of alienated youth who fill their time with sex, drugs, and even talk themselves into murder. And unlike Kids, this story was not fiction. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob, and today I'm taking a look at Larry Clark's Bully from 2001. This film is based on the true crime novel Bully, A True Tale of High School Revenge, from 1997, based on the murder of Bobby Kent in 1993. So, since this is a true story of murder based on a true crime book, I'm not going to worry too much about spoilers in this one. Obviously, a movie about the murder of Bobby Kent will end sometime after the murder of Bobby Kent. So, let's see how he got did. We open on Bobby's best friend Marty talking dirty on the phone. He says some stuff about where he wants a mouth, and then his mom calls him down to dinner. Young faces talking dirty? Yep, we're watching a Larry Clark film. Then we hop over to two girls getting a sandwich. The sandwich artists are Marty, who we know, and Bobby, who's none too nice to Marty. Bobby is played by Nick Stahl. You might remember him as the Yellow Bastard in Sin City. The girls are played by Rachel Miner and Bijou Phillips. Rachel Miner will be familiar to fans of Supernatural. She played the demon Meg in a few seasons. Bijou Phillips, on the other hand, is a more complicated story. She's the daughter of John Phillips, of the Mamas and the Papas, and as a teenager, she was one of these wild, nepo baby club kids, kind of like Paris Hilton before Paris Hilton. Larry Clark, who I suspect hated her in real life, said that she was perfect for this role. On set, she was later criticized for being something of a bully herself and for body-shaming one of the cast members. But in Bijou's defense, that cast member had this body.
I can't believe you, Rob.
Hey, shame ain't always bad, people.
I'm not ashamed of my body.
Exactly. That's your problem. You should have been.
Anyway, the four hang out and they eventually pull over and do what Shakespeare might call making the beast with two backs. Yeah, I know Shakespeare. I like movies with lots of nudity and Shakespeare. I have layers. Would you like to see what's under them? Anyway, again, we learn that the boys have a money-making scheme. Bobby gets clients for Marty, who then calls them and talks dirty. I guess that's what was happening in the opening scene. Bobby forces Marty to get up on stage and dance for extra money. Marty doesn't want to, of course, but Bobby puts in the work to be a good motivator. Pimpin' ain't easy.
Pimping, as a matter of fact, ain't easy.
We then get various scenes of Bobby being a bully. Verbal abuse, physical abuse. At one point, he even busts in on Marty, topping his white U, as Iago in Othello would say. He proceeds to knock Marty out and claim that it's his turn with Lisa. Lisa starts to hatch a plan of sorts. It's not clear exactly what her plan is, but she remarks that Bobby is the problem and invites Allie down to hang out with him. Bobby's on his best behavior when Allie comes down to visit, but when they go to his room, he offers her some grape soda. And you know how that goes. When someone offers you grape soda, you can't say no. At one point, Marty breaks down and tells Lisa that Bobby has been bullying him his entire life. He flippantly says the only way to stop it would be to kill him. He doesn't mean this as a suggestion, but just as a statement of how hopeless the situation is. But Lisa doesn't see the situation as hopeless. She thinks murder is a viable option. Marty thinks she's talking nonsense, but she makes it clear she's being serious. She tells Marty, "But screw your courage to the sticking place and we'll not fail," or something in that Lady Macbeth kind of way. Layers. Lisa gets Allie to come down to help with the murder. Allie, in turn, gets her boyfriend Donny and her friend Heather to come down as well. And they, even though they've never even met Bobby, are easily convinced to join in the murder plot. It is shocking how nonchalant these kids are about planning to take someone's life. And the movie makes no attempt to show how these kids justify their actions. Some critics see this as a failing, but I think it's a brilliant choice on the part of Larry Clark. It makes for a much more disturbing picture. In the film, these are not the actions of reflective people who reason their way through life. These are the actions of lost, alienated kids who contemplate murder the way normal people contemplate where to go on vacation. Their plan is to lure Bobby out somewhere into the Floridian wilderness and shoot him. But Lisa, like Lady Macbeth before her, chickens out when it comes time to do the deed. So they consult a guy in a gang. That's Leo Fitzpatrick, by the way, the star of Larry Clark's first feature film, Kids. And he too agrees to help them carry out their plan. After adding Lisa's cousin to the mix, the murder group is complete. Okay, so this is a true crime story about the murder of Bobby Kent, so we know that now they're going to go murder Bobby Kent, and they're not going to get away with it, so let's talk some highlights. Well, I'm a big fan of this movie and think there's a lot to praise, but this video is already running kind of long, so let's keep it short. The acting is top-notch, the story is gripping, everyone gets naked, a lot. And in general, I'm just a fan of the way Larry Clark shoots his films. His camera leers in a way that can make the audience squirm, and at other times, his camera lingers on these soft, innocent faces, which also makes the audience squirm because we're forced to recognize that these are just kids. But if I have to single out a single highlight, it will be the way he filmed the murder of Bobby Kent. What's particularly impressive is how we, the audience, are led to see it. Clearly, Bobby is a terrible person, and in the hands of another director, we might not feel bad for him or feel that some sort of justice is being served. Larry Clark's brilliance is making sure we don't feel that way. The reality of that situation hits hard. These kids are murdering someone.
Is he dead yet?
Getting there.
Some of them break down, all of them fail to take responsibility. Bobby gets an et tu, Brute moment. It's very well done. And in the aftermath, that tension is kept high. The stress of what they have done really starts to eat at these kids and causes them to make some truly idiotic decisions. In a way, it's a frustrating watch. These kids are just so stupid. I've never seen a film present such a damning yet realistic depiction of Floridians.